Attention passionate Cleveland, Browns fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNS FANS. Let's get to the news. Now, Browns fans, buckle up because what I'm about to tell you is not just hot off the press. It's potentially one of the most significant stories shaping the AFC North and honestly, the entire NFL landscape this season. If you've been following Cleveland's journey lately, you know that this offseason has been a roller coaster of emotions, controversies, and high expectations. But beyond all that, what's happening behind the scenes could redefine the future of this franchise. So, let's dive deep into the latest, from Deshaun Watson's personal life to the team's prospects, and the bold moves and candid words from the Browns' ownership. Because this story isn't just about football, it's about resilience, redemption, and the relentless pursuit of greatness. First, let's talk about the recent wedding that took place earlier this month, a ceremony that drew a lot of attention not just for the union itself, but for the personalities involved. Deshaun Watson, the quarterback who's been under a microscope since his trade to Cleveland in 2022, tied the knot with his longtime girlfriend, Jilly Anais. Yes, that's right, the same Jilly Anais, who announced their engagement back in March. Now, if you've been following Watson's saga, you know that his journey in Cleveland has been anything but smooth. His arrival was met with high hopes, but also with a fair share of scrutiny, especially after the off-field controversies that shadowed his career. Jilly Anais, a talented singer and social media personality, has remained publicly supportive of Watson throughout all the turbulence. She's been a constant presence, defending him on social media, standing by his side during some of his most challenging times. And that's what makes this wedding even more noteworthy. A recent video posted by Anais on her social media shows Cleveland Browns co-owner Jimmy Haslam shaking hands with Watson at the ceremony. Now, for those who follow the Browns closely, this might seem like a small detail, but it's actually quite significant. Because just a few months ago, Haslam made some pretty candid and, frankly, surprising remarks about Watson's time in Cleveland. In fact, at the NFL's annual meeting in March, Haslam openly admitted that the Browns took a gamble on Watson that didn't quite pay off the way they hoped. He said, "We took a big swing and miss with Deshaun. We thought we had the quarterback, we didn't." Those words didn't come from a place of anger, but rather from a sense of accountability and reflection. The Browns made a bold move in 2022 by trading multiple high draft picks and signing Watson to a fully guaranteed $230 million contract. At the time, it was seen as a franchise-altering decision, a gamble on a player with immense talent but significant baggage. And let's be honest, the expectations for Watson were sky-high. Cleveland was banking on him returning to his elite form, providing stability at the quarterback position after years of inconsistency. But the reality has been complicated. Over the past 3 seasons, Watson has only played 19 games, throwing for 365 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. Not exactly the numbers that justify a $230 million investment, especially when you consider his recent injury setbacks. Last season, Watson appeared in just 7 games before suffering a season-ending Achilles injury. He finished with 148 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. And as if that wasn't enough, during his recovery, he re-injured his Achilles in January and had to undergo a second surgery. Right now, he's still sidelined, focusing on rehab, and the question on everyone's mind is whether he'll be able to return to his previous level of play. The Browns, of course, are holding their breath, hoping he'll be ready to contribute at some point this season. But even if Watson does come back, the team's plans for him as the starting quarterback are far from certain. Browns insider Mary Kay Cabot has reported that Cleveland plans to run a 4-man quarterback competition during training camp, which includes Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Sanders. That's a pretty diverse group, each with their own strengths and potential. The plan, it seems, is to proceed cautiously, especially given Watson's recent injuries and the team's overall strategy to not rush him back. Fact, Cabot suggests that Watson could be ready to start practicing by October, but she emphasizes it's unlikely he'll be cleared to play this season. The Browns are taking no chances. They've learned their lesson the hard way that rushing a player back from injury can have serious consequences. So, Cleveland fans, it's all about patience now. The team's focus is on developing the current roster, evaluating the young quarterbacks, and making sure Watson is fully healthy before putting him back on the field. Because, let's face it, this franchise's future depends on making the right call at the right time. Now, let's step back for a moment and analyze what all this means for the Browns in a bigger picture. Cleveland has been in a bit of a rebuild mode over the past few years, trying to find consistency at the QB position, trying to develop a solid defense, and rebuild the identity of the team. Remember, Cleveland has a rich football history, filled with ups and downs, heartbreaks, and moments of glory. The Browns are a team that's always eager to reclaim their status as a powerhouse in the AFC, and this season, every move, every decision feels even more critical. This offseason has been filled with high expectations, especially after the arrival of Watson. Fans hoped that he would be the missing piece, the game changer who could elevate the team to playoff success and ultimately a Super Bowl appearance. But just as quickly as the hope surged, doubts started to creep in. Critics point to Watson's injury history, his limited playing time, and the off-field baggage that still lingers. And yet, there's a sense of optimism among the Browns faithful, a belief that with the right support and a bit of luck, Watson can still rediscover his elite form. The Browns' roster is also shaping up to be competitive. Their defense remains strong, with key players like Myles Garrett, one of the most dominant pass rushers in the league, leading a unit that's been top tier in recent seasons. The offensive line has been bolstered through draft picks and free agency, aiming to give Watson or whoever is under center enough protection to operate effectively. The receiving core, featuring young talents and veterans alike, looks promising, with players eager to step up and make their mark. But the real story here isn't just about the individual players. It's about the organizational mindset. Cleveland has shown resilience, and despite setbacks, they're still aiming high. The ownership, including Jimmy Haslam, is transparent about their ambitions. Yes, they took a gamble on Watson, and yes, that gamble didn't pay off immediately. But the franchise remains committed to building a winning culture. They're aware that patience, strategic planning, and a bit of luck are essential ingredients if they want to turn this around. In recent years, the AFC North has been fiercely competitive. The Cincinnati Bengals, led by Joe Burrow, have been making waves, making deep playoff runs and establishing themselves as a serious threat. The Baltimore Ravens, with their innovative offense and stout defense, are always in the mix. And even the Pittsburgh Steelers, with their gritty style and solid defense, can never be counted out. So, for Cleveland, it's not just about getting back to respectability. It's about clawing their way back to the top and establishing dominance in a division that's arguably the toughest in the NFL. Looking ahead, many Browns fans are wondering what this season will bring. Will Watson return to his Pro Bowl form? Will the young quarterbacks step up and prove they belong? Or will Cleveland's success depend on a combination of veteran leadership, strategic coaching, and a little bit of luck? It's a complex puzzle, but one thing is for sure. This franchise is not content with just participating. They want to compete, they want to win, and they want to bring a Super Bowl back to Cleveland after decades of waiting. And that brings us to the bigger picture of the NFL landscape. The league continues to evolve, with new stars emerging, old legends still competing, and teams adjusting their strategies to stay ahead. Cleveland's current situation reflects a broader NFL trend: teams willing to take risks, invest heavily in star players, but also face the harsh realities of injuries, off-field issues, and the relentless pressure to succeed immediately. The Browns are in the middle of this whirlwind, balancing hope with caution, ambition with patience. In conclusion, Browns fans, what we're witnessing right now is a pivotal moment in the team's history. Deshaun Watson's journey back from injury, the organizational introspection, and the quest for stability and success all intertwine to create a narrative that's as compelling as any in recent memory. Whether Watson can reclaim his top form remains to be seen, but one thing's certain: the Cleveland Browns are not backing down. They're rallying, they're fighting, and they're aiming for that Super Bowl, no matter what obstacles lie ahead. So keep your eyes on this story because it's far from over. The season is just around the corner, and with it comes the hope, the drama, and the thrill of NFL football. Browns fans, your team might be facing a tough road, but remember, resilience is part of Cleveland's DNA. We've seen this team rise from tough times before, and with a little patience and a lot of heart, they can do it again. The journey continues, and I'll be right here, bringing you all the latest updates, analysis, and inside stories. Stay tuned, keep the faith, and as always, go Browns. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cleveland Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news.